Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today I want to share a very personal story with you. It's a story about love and pain. It's a story about a woman who gave her heart to the wrong person. Sometimes we fall in love with someone who is not really ours, and sometimes that love teaches us the hardest lesson. If you've ever loved someone you couldn't keep, or if you've ever felt lost in love, this story is for you. So sit back, take a deep breath, and listen to the story of I loved a man who was not mine. I met him on a rainy Tuesday, waiting for my coffee. He stood behind me in line. He asked, "Cold day, right?" I smiled and said yes, very cold. His smile was warm. It made me feel calm. He said his name was Daniel. I told him my name was Anna. We talked for 5 minutes. Then we both took our coffee and left. That evening I got a message. It was from Daniel. He found me on social media. Don't know how, but I didn't care. I was happy to talk to him again. We started messaging every day. His words were kind. He asked about my day. He remembered the little things. No one ever did that before. It made me feel special. Soon we met again, this time for lunch. He told me he loved books. I love books too. We talked for hours. I didn't want the day to end. When he looked at me, I felt seen, felt safe. He never spoke about his past. I didn't ask much. I was too busy falling for him. One day we sat in the park. He held my hand. The sun was warm. I felt like I was in a dream. I started to wait for his messages, waited for his calls. When he was late, I felt sad. He never came to my home. I always went to his side of the city. He said his place was too messy. He made me feel beautiful. He said I had a sweet smile. He told me, "You are different. You are not like other girls." I was falling in love. I didn't want to stop, but I didn't know his full story. Not yet. One evening, I called Daniel. He didn't answer. I sent him a message. No reply. I waited and waited. Still nothing came. The next day, he texted, "Sorry, I was busy." I asked, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yes, just work." I believed him, but something felt strange. He started changing. He stopped calling at night. He didn't say good morning anymore. We still met, but not often. He always looked tired. Sometimes he smiled less. Sometimes he looked sad. Then one day I saw a woman on his phone screen. Her name popped up when we were together. I asked, "Who is she?" He looked away. He said, "She's just a friend." My heart felt cold. I felt something was wrong. That night I searched online. I needed to know. I found his name. I found a photo. He was standing with a woman and 2 children. They looked happy, like a family. My heart broke. My hands started to shake. He never told me he had a wife. He never told me he had kids. He lied to me every day. The next time we met, I said, "You have a family?" He was quiet. Then he said yes. I asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" He said, "I didn't want to lose you." I said, you never had me. You only had my heart. Tears came to my eyes, thick inside. He said, I still care for you. I said, but you don't belong to me. You have someone waiting for you at home. He said, I don't love her anymore. I said, but she is still your wife. He reached for my hand. Wait, said, I need time. That night I cried alone. My heart was full of pain. I still loved him, but I knew the truth now. Every day I woke up with a heavy heart. My mind said leave, but my heart said stay. I remembered his smile. I remembered his voice, but I also remembered his lie. I remembered the photo. He had a family. He had children, and I was the secret. Was the mistake. I stopped replying to his messages, but he kept texting. He said he missed me. He said he was sorry. He said, you are special to me. Leave him. But how could I trust him again? I talked to my best friend. I told her everything. She looked at me with kind eyes. She held my hand. She said, you did nothing wrong. You gave your heart. But now you must protect it. I cried that night. I hugged my pillow. My chest felt heavy. I couldn't breathe well. I looked in the mirror. I saw a tired face. I didn't smile. My eyes looked sad. I wanted to feel strong again. I wanted to feel free. But love is hard. And this love was wrong. One day he waited outside my work. He said, please talk to me. I said, what do you want? He said, I want us. I asked, what about your wife? He said, it's over. I didn't believe him. I said, do your children know? He said no. He looked away. I felt my heart break again. His words meant nothing now. He had chances to tell the truth. He didn't. I walked away. He didn't follow. That night he didn't call. He didn't text. I sat alone by the window at the stars. I whispered, why did I love a man who was not mine? Days passed. I didn't hear from him. Each day felt a little better. Each night was less painful. I started reading books again. I listened to music I loved. I walked in the park. I smiled at the sun. I thought about him less. My heart was still sore, but I knew I was healing. Sometimes I wanted to call him, but I didn't. I held my phone and whispered no more lies. I remembered his touch. I remembered his kiss. But I also remembered his silence. His truth came too late. I wrote in my diary, I wrote I deserve real love. I deserve someone who is only mine. One morning I woke up and didn't think of him. That day felt new. That day felt mine. I started spending time with friends again. We laughed over coffee. We watched movies. I felt alive again. I felt light. My heart was not full of him anymore. One afternoon, I got a message from him. It said, I miss you. I still think of you. I looked at the message. I didn't reply. I deleted it. I closed that door. He had his chance. He lost it. I gave him love. He gave me confusion. I now know what I want. And peace. I want someone honest, someone free. I learned something hard. Love is not always right. Sometimes love is a lesson. Sometimes love must end. I loved a man who was not mine, but I found myself again. And now I will wait for the love I truly deserve. Weeks turned into months. Think of him as much. The pain became quiet. The sadness became soft. I started smiling more. I started laughing again. My life felt new. My heart felt light. I met new people. I made new memories. I went to places I had never been. I tried new things. I stood by the ocean one day. I felt the wind on my face, and I whispered thank you, not to him, but to life. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the strength. I don't hate him, but I don't love him anymore. He was a chapter, not my whole story. One day I might love again. Maybe deeper, maybe truer. Now I love myself first. I learned to let go. I learned to grow. I learned that real love never hides. I look in the mirror now. I see someone strong. I see someone who survived. She loved a man who was not hers, but she found herself. And now she is free. I still remember the rain. I still remember his voice. But I remember me more. I remember who I became. If you are in pain, know this, you will heal. If your heart is broken, it will beat again. Don't chase love that hides in the dark. Wait for love that stands in the light. I loved a man who was not mine, but now I am mine, and that is enough. Thank you for listening to my story. It was not easy to tell, but it was real. I loved someone who was not mine, and that love hurt me deeply. But from pain I grew, and from loss I found myself again. If you are going through something like this, please remember you are not alone. You are strong, you are enough, and you deserve a love that is honest and true. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. I'll see you again next time with another story from the heart. Until then, take care of yourself and never forget your heart matters.